I'll show you the new and easy way of getting copywriting clients in 2026. And this is the most personalized, yet most automated outreach method I have ever seen. And it's exactly what built up my copywriting career. Let me show you a few of the responses I got. Sweet, will you be free tomorrow over the weekend to have a chat around that? Hi, Alessandro. Hats off to you for the most entertaining cold email I've received this year. They're always the same standard emails from marketers saying they can do it better. They're pretty boring. I just click them away. Your email, however, caught my attention. Please book a call here. Yes, why not? Let's organize this. And by the way, this didn't just work for me. I've engineered this method with my best friend, and he's also getting great results and great responses with that. For example, happy to accept your offer, and we can go from there. I mean, how much better does it get than that? Thank you for sending over the video. It makes so much sense what you're saying. La 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 la. I'd love a conversation with you. It's been overwhelming, but I love a conversation with you. Now, before I get into the method exactly, I want to show you why what you're doing isn't working out for you. Let's say you're sending Instagram DMs manually. Well, so is everyone else. I'm telling you, there are dozens of copywriters, growth operators, setters, and closers clogging up your dream clients' inboxes every single day. So that doesn't stand out. And the most important thing when it comes to getting clients over social media or email or whatever is giving them that wow factor of standing out of, wow, this is the person that I've been waiting for. Or let's say that you're doing templated cold email. Well, they've seen almost every variation of every template. And even if they haven't, even if it's something new, it still doesn't get that, wow, he made something for me. This is different than everything else, because how different can a cold email truly be? But let's say you're also sending value. Let's say you're sending a rewrite in Instagram DMs. You rewrote their welcome sequence and you're sending that in the DMs. Well, now with the rise of AI, so many copywriters are doing that. And the thing is, they're doing such a shit job at it that other copywriters have now gotten a bad rep for themselves. Because as soon as they see that DM saying, hey, I rewrote your welcome email, or this is the 3-part sequence, it's like they don't even give a fuck. Because they've seen so many just AI bullshit that then they don't even trust you anymore. But what if there was a way to have human contact with the prospect, to have them hear your voice, see your face, trust them, show them something so new, something they care about actually? And how do you give them a CTA that is so well targeted and so irresistible that they just have to respond? Well, that is what I'm going to show you today. And I'll show you on the example of if you're reaching out to me, because I think that's the easiest way to explain this. Let me get straight into it. Okay, so let's say you're on my YouTube channel and you want to reach out to me. First things first, I want to clarify that when I reach out using this method, I reach out pitching content and email, because people don't really give a fuck about email. Okay, I mean, a few days ago, I was talking to some mother from this guy that I knew way back in the day, and she asked me, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I actually quit uni, and now I have my own business. She's like, oh, great, what do you do? I do email marketing. She was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who quits uni for email marketing? I mean, obviously, that's just the normie, but even the coaches that you're reaching out to, email marketing sounds as boring as watching paint dry. It's not a sexy topic, right? And they often do not understand the value and the mechanics of it. But what they do care about is content. And so if you were reaching out to me, what would you do? Well, you'd say, you'd identify a problem. For example, you'd say, okay, you're posting a lot of videos and they're very cool. You have a very cute dog, but like they all get sub 20 views, man. You got to fix this shit. And so you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to reach out to because I have expertise in that. And you'll say, hey, Alessandro, my name is John, or it's John, whatever you want. And I have something to discuss with you that I think would be very valuable. You introduce yourself, introduce who you work for, who you worked with, and all of these things. For example, if you then tell me that you work specifically with copywriting coaches to help them increase their views, which is a pain point I have, and then convert that into paying clients, well, now I'm listening to you because you gave a very specific outcome that I really care about. And I see that you work with people just like me. You can say copywriting coaches, you can say just coaches, whatever you want. And then what you do is you say, for example, I've helped all of these people, and you show the proof. Just like I did in the beginning of the video. I'm actually filming it the same way I would film a Loom. So you say, hey, I work with this person, I help them go from 10 to 30K a month, whatever. And if you don't have that kind of proof, It's okay. You just take a few people from Instagram or whatever you're reaching out to, and you say, this worked for these people, but you have to be vague enough to not say that you helped them, because that's just plain lying. We don't want that. But also, you're not saying that you didn't help them. So you kind of want to stay in this gray zone where you say this worked for them and you imply that you helped them, but you actually didn't. And that will already give you proof. And why do we want proof at the beginning? Because we want an authoritative tone. We want them to listen to us. Because what we did in the beginning is we identified a problem, gave them an outcome, told them that we worked with people just like them. Then we show that we helped people just like them. And then the person is all ears, all right? That's why this method works insanely well. And then you're also on their page, by the way, which is why this is very, very personalized. And I'll show you the automated thing later. Now, you identify the problem. You say, well, you don't really, like, your videos are amazing, but you don't have many views. And then you get into the proof and you say, well, in the next few minutes, I'll show you 3 things you can implement right now to explode your views in the next 2 weeks and already start converting them into high-paying clients. You could say that, for example, where you're giving me an outcome I really want and make it as tangible as possible. If you can use numbers and say, so you can add 10K a month to your business in the next 2 weeks, for example, that can work very, very well. Then you get into the advice part. And by the way, let me just clarify. Why are we talking about content one more time? Because they care about it. All the coaches that you're reaching out to, they want to grow their Instagram profiles. They want to grow their YouTube, but they struggle with it. Especially people that have good businesses, good retention, they make a lot of money, but just have only started with content. So they have a few thousand followers or up to 20, 30,000 followers. They need that help. They're constantly looking for new content strategies, for new things. And that is copywriting at its core. I mean, look at it. Hooks, scripts. What if that is not someone getting behind a keyboard and writing words? That is copywriting. Turning that attention into clients, also copywriting. Building the list, it's all copywriting, captions. So trust me, you can do this. Anyway, we got to the advice part. And you want to go back to the drawing board, such as Figma or Miro, after you've been on their page, right? And this is where you want to spill the sauce. And again, focus on content and then sneak in emails. I usually show 3 things. 2 about content, and then I talk about emails so they can convert the attention that I'll help them get. But I don't lead with emails, right? Because once again, they don't give a fuck about emails. They care about content. And you want to make this very, very valuable, preferably something that they haven't already heard about. Or if they have, you take it to a level where they haven't heard about, to a level that they haven't explored yet. And you want to make this highly actionable, that something they can get results from today, right? Today, as fast as they can get results from it, the better, because that will be a very, very attractive topic to them. They'll want to hear more about it. For example, let's say they have a list of 10,000 people. Well, they can send one good email today and they can make a fuckload of sales. So that's something that will be very, very actionable. Or they could implement a ManyChat CTA and already get a lot of leads. A ManyChat CTA is just comment the word, keyword, and I'll send you whatever. Now, you gave the advice, and it was very, very good. You drew things on your Miro or Figma. You explained it very well. You used their name constantly. But there's something very important that if you miss out on, no one will ever watch your video. And that is tonality. And this is imperative. Because again, no one will watch your video if you're just monotone and boring. I actually heard this story from this vocal coach. He said that when he first was, I think, in high school, he went to his first vocal coaching session. And he came to the lady and she was sitting behind the piano, which he thought was quite weird. And she just starts playing one key. She just started doing ding, 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 ding. And the guy was annoyed. He was like, what the fuck is this? Is this not vocal coaching? And she says, yes, but I'm illustrating what your voice sounds like right now. Ding, ding. At the end of the vocal coaching, your voice will sound like this. And then she starts playing some badass symphony like da 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 da, telling him that basically he needs to unlock his whole instrument. And that's what I want to teach you with your voice. It's actually not that difficult. You just have to use the whole range of your piano, your voice. And how can you do this? You can use pauses. After you say something very important, you pause. Sometimes you want to say something very slowly. For example, I help people just like yourself, or I help copywriting coaches just like yourself, Alessandro. You see, I'm enunciating that and elongating the sentence. Or sometimes, if I'm speaking about something a little bit more technical and I want to show just how much knowledge I have about that and I want them to feel like they don't know much about it, then I'm going to speak way faster. Damn, that was rap god type stuff. Or when I want to give an outcome, I can be louder. For example, implement these 3 tips to add $10,000 a month to your business in the next 4 weeks, right? I'll say that a bit louder, and then I'll also pause. Or sometimes I'm going to go slower. When I'm explaining something, I can be slower because it's just like them getting very close to us and kind of whispering a secret in their ear. And that's when I'm being a little bit softer and a little bit slower. And I want you to use this, because if your videos are just you talking in a monotone way with a shit mic, nobody is going to listen to it. Now, the video should be around 5 to 6 minutes long. But even though it's a bit short, it's not easy to hold someone's attention for 5 minutes if you don't practice these things, okay? So do that. And then so what do? We introduce ourselves, right? We showed some proof. We identified a problem that they have and called them out on their problem while still complimenting them so that they feel like we understand them and we have the solution for them. Then what we did is we switched into the Miro board and gave them insanely good sauce, something that they will feel like they usually have to pay for, and something that blows their mind and that either they haven't heard about or that they have heard about, but you went into much, much deeper territory, deeper knowledge. And then your tonality was great. It was very, very fun to listen to. So sometimes you paused, sometimes you talk slower, sometimes you talk fast, sometimes you're loud, sometimes it's soft. And then it's time for the CTA. So imagine if you watch this video and then at the end of this video, I said, hey, if you just shoot me a message on Instagram, I'll actually make this loom for you so you can just steal my script, steal the topics that I present, look at my tonality, and literally just replicate what I do step by step and get yourself a roster of 1 to 3K a month clients pretty fast. Again, all you gotta do is just reply to this message and I'll send it to you. Did you feel the pull? Were you thinking, fuck, I really wish this were true? I mean, it's not. But if I were reaching out to you and if I wanted to close you, this is what I would say. Because it's something just irresistible. I mean, if you're watching this video, why would you not want my entire script, my exact CTA, to see exactly which topics I present, what I tell them that they should fix? Who would not want a roster of 1K to 3K clients? Everyone would, of course. And this is what you want it to feel like. So for example, when I did my looms, I would say, if you just reply to this email really quickly, I'll actually send you the captions and emails we talked about so you can explode your traffic, but at the same time convert it and make 5 to 10K in the next week. All you gotta do is just reply and it's on the house. I'll give this to you. Bye. And so people will reply in droves. Droves? I think it's droves. Again, because why wouldn't you? And then what do you do when you get these replies? You just say, well, we should get on a call so that I can actually personalize this for you. And they're like, oh yeah, sweet, sure. You get on a call and you close them from there. Now, before I explain exactly how to do the automated part, I want to tell you that the first link in the description is my anti-beginner email copywriting guide, where I'll take you from zero or near zero, a beginner, intermediate, whatever, to someone that can really outcompete 99% of the copywriters reaching out to your dream clients. You'll know everything you need to know to really make it rain and make your clients a lot of money. You'll have this fundamental knowledge. Now, how do we automate this? Because this is a 5 to 7 minute video, but we want to make this in 2 minutes so that we can spam like 20, 30, 40 a day, and so that we can get a shitload of interested replies, booked calls, and booked clients, closed clients. You use Loom and AI for this. Basically, you have to film this part, right? You just have to, because you need to show their page. It needs to have the wow personalized effect. And you need to be literally talking about their problem on their page, saying, hey, Alessandro, I see that you don't get too many views, even though your videos are of high quality. Perhaps it's the thumbnails, titles, whatever. But then you'll see that your Figma and CTA part, or Miro and CTA part, are going to be mostly the same thing. So you can just make a templated part of this and stitch onto it the first 2 minutes where you introduce yourself and where you talk about their problems. How do you do this? Well, Loom has AI variables, voice variables. That's what I wanted to say, which means that if you just put in a list of your prospects' names, here it will insert John, Deborah, whatever you choose. Isn't that insane? So this part will be insanely valuable, insanely personalized, and they will never realize that this is a template, because it's like you're saying their name over and over in this video. And then you want to make the transition as seamless as possible. So for example, if you left the first 2 minutes here, then your template also has to start here, everything in the exact same order, so that as soon as you click from here to here, there's a cut and nobody notices. And that's how I get so many replies telling me, wow, like this is so personalized, thank you so much. And I'm just grinning and chuckling because I know that I fucking cheated the system. So that's it. First link in the description, anti-beginner copywriting guide. Get that, become a good-ass copywriter that can outcompete 99% of your competition that actually sucks. Give this a try. This really, really works. If you have any questions, let me know, and see you next time.